Thousands of Korean children have been adopted into American homes since the end of the Korean War. And with the help of One Area Family, Paul Donahue takes us through the international adoption process.
Korea, 1954. To fully appreciate the destructiveness of war, you need only to look at the faces of its victims, innocent victims, children. The Korean War left thousands of orphan children scattered throughout the country, without homes, parents, and seemingly without hope. Enter Harry and Bertha Holt of Eugene, Oregon, who didn't see these faces as the enemy, but as children who needed their love. Although Harry and Bertha were both over 50, they went to a social worker asking to adopt 8 Korean children.
And then he said, well, how many children by birth do you have? And I said, oh, we have 6. Oh, he said, you got too many children already. And then he said, why on earth do you want to adopt any more children? And I said, well, we felt very sure that the Lord wanted us to do this.
In spite of skeptical social workers, the Holts wrote letters urging Congress to pass a law permitting their adoption. In July of 1955, the Senate did, passing the Holt Bill, a law written specifically to permit the adoption of international children. Later that year, Holt International's first adoptees arrived in America. The year now is 1987, and in the 30 years since Holt was formed, over 50,000 Korean children have stormed the backyards of American homes.
Swing sets, swimming pools, and backyard toys. This is the ideal atmosphere Harry envisioned for his homeless children. This also happens to be the first stop for families hoping to adopt one of Harry's children.
Of course, you read all the paperwork on the family, and you get a good feeling for the family one way or the other, and there's maybe something that stands out that you have a question about, and so then you will center in on it.
Serving as Holt's Western Kentucky connection, Satterfield interviews families hoping to adopt through the agency. She's adopted 3 Holt's children of her own, and she uses her own instincts to select prospective parents.
You get a feeling from meeting with these families 4 times that, how you think they're going to react to this situation. A lot of the questions are about how they think they're going to handle an internationally adopted child because of the cultural and racial differences. What Korea is interested in is how they'll keep the Korean heritage alive.
Nita Satterfield has helped to place children in over 60 Western Kentucky families. You'll meet some of them tomorrow. Paul Donahue, Newsbeat 6.
Paul visits with a parent support group tomorrow, and on Wednesday you'll sit at the airport with One Area Family as it waits for the arrival of their child. Parent support groups try to bridge the gap and ease the tension. As Paul Donahue reports in part 2 of his series American Journey, the groups help before and after a family receives their child.
It's a family picnic, but look closer. The children are different from their parents. This is actually a PAC picnic, Parents and Adoptive Children in Kentucky. PAC is a support group for all adoptive parents, but is seeing more and more foreign adoptions.
Most of our children are foreign born simply for the fact that there are not that many children available in the United States any longer. The waiting period for a healthy white infant in the state of Kentucky is 6 to 7 years.
Part of the growth in foreign adoptions can be attributed to Carolyn Brown, member of PAC in Madisonville, Kentucky, who was instrumental in bringing the International Adoption Agency Holt to this state. She says Holt has filled a void for couples hoping to adopt.
Because the Korean infants are available, and from the time that you apply to the time that the child arrives is anywhere from a year to 18 months, people who want to parent healthy infants have a source.
Gail and Ron Deeroff thought they tapped every source available. They tried adopting through state agencies for 3 years before they found Holt. Holt, a non-governmental agency, told them their new child would be playing in their Reedland neighborhood in half that time. Now, they're awaiting word of their daughter's arrival.
It's gotten to the point where everybody gets a little uptight when the phone rings. So I think this next phone call is going to be it.
Gail and Ron have 2 children by birth, 10-year-old Jennifer and young Christopher. Before Chris was born, Gail suffered 2 miscarriages, after which the Deeroffs decided to adopt. When Gail became pregnant with Chris, Holt said the adoption could continue, so they're adopting an 8-year-old girl.
We decided that we wanted one that's a little older, so it'd be closer to Jennifer in age, so they would have a good relationship between them.
Holt sent the Deeroffs a picture of their child. Gail had it framed. Her Korean name was Kim Chun-soo, and the Deeroffs have Americanized it to Jamie Elizabeth. The Deeroffs returned pictures and letters to Korea of themselves. One of the letters was written by Jennifer.
I was looking for her being my sister, that we were going to have a lot of fun, and that she would meet some of my friends.
The Dieroff family lineage can be traced back to the mid-1800s. They're Swedish, French, German, English, and now Korean. Where little Jamie fits into the family picture hasn't been determined yet, but she's being received with open arms.
Ideally, she'd run off the plane and say the equivalent of daddy in Korean, I guess, and run up and hug us, but...
You'll be at the airport with the Dieroffs when they pick up Jamie tomorrow. Paul Donahue, Newsbeat 6.
Paul will have the third and final part of his series tomorrow night. With a family in Reedland. As Paul Donahue reports in the conclusion of his series, American Journey, it's a lifelong experience when adoptive parents meet their children for the very first time.
It's a 20-hour flight from Korea to the United States, across the international date line, to a time and place 4 Korean children are too young to understand. 4 American families wait patiently at Memphis International Airport. Most of these people are used to waiting. The Dieroffs have been waiting 3 years for this day. Excitement mounts. Nervous time.
We're excited, to say the least. Anxious about, just what's going to happen and how she's going to feel. Mainly, we're concerned about her feelings. We'd like to know what she's thinking right now.
James Brockman of Covington, Kentucky, has never been a father.
Just happened to have it in your pocket. My wife put one in the carrier because I was ready.
The plane has landed. Parents and grandparents look out the windows while greeters from Holt International, the adoption agency, go get the children. This young lady boarded the plane as Kim Chun-soo in Korea. She passes the gate forevermore as Jamie Elizabeth Dieroff. Behind her, a little boy walks with one of the greeters, and 2 Korean infants in the background have all completed their American journey.
Oh my goodness. Going to bed at night, every night you say your prayers, you wonder if he's all right and who's holding him and what he feels like.
I wish I could communicate more with her. I really feel real helpless right now, but that's the main thing, how to reassure her. That's how to talk to her. I don't know how right now, but we'll learn, I'm sure. I wouldn't trade this experience for anything, I'll tell you that.
It's an experience more American couples are opting for these days as the supply of healthy American babies dwindles. For the Dieroffs and their new daughter, Jamie, it doesn't matter where she came from. All that matters is where she's going. Paul Donahue, Newsbeat 6.